when we talk about cost as well, you can move funds from are doing it. And then accessibility, you're allowing your users or anyone actually in the world without even a bank account to open a wallet and to interact with crypto and with stable coins in any country in the world. For me, that's one of the main things.
I think that there are multiple use cases. Some protecting their wealth, and that is also a use case that in crypto, with the appearance of stablecoins, also grew more, because especially in countries like Argentina, we have a lot of demand of these of dollars, and this is an alternative to get dollarized. And with the sheer volume of people using stablecoins, we started to see more cross-border payments and like this crossing between the traditional system. That has grew in our platform tremendously. Today we do 80% of our volume in stablecoins. Polygon is one of the main chains that is used for transfers. We have also helped partners to build beyond other things of payments. We help Mercado Libre to issue Melidollar with their stablecoin that it powers their loyalty program. I think so. This stablecoin powers the loyalty program of the largest fintech in the region. So it is starting to cross more and more use cases. And now we are starting to focus, we think is the time to start tokenizing all real-world assets, local currencies, local bonds, local equities, and that has been the focus of the last few months.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think we're kind of in the brink of a new era into which obviously, stablecoins check the boxes of all these, characteristics that we want to kind of have. But I think that the more interesting thing is that we are entering an area into which humans are starting to operate and think and need different stuff, different from the last 500 years. And that means human plus agents. And I think that is where, in a way, we are building the primitives for that to happen. The needs for the next human are going to be much very different, purely digital, 24/7. And if you think that you will still be using Swift to move money cross-borderly, you are just stupid, So, okay, how do we basically build those rails for the future? And then do a lot of innovation across the intersection of, these, taking the words of Antonia, or the guys from MasterCard, kind of stitching the past with the present, but thinking about how you create the future, because stitching is okay, but it won't last forever. We need to build new bonds, as of saying, no?
Yes, I completely agree with the benefits of stablecoins, especially for cross-border payments. But there are also other initiatives, local, such as PIX in Brazil or Transferencias 3.0 here, with fiat rails, with traditional rails, that also solve the problem of costs, of instant payments. So I see that there's a possibility where on-chain transactions can fill this gap by connecting these local systems, because they work perfectly well for locals paying locally, but whenever they need to make a cross-border transaction, that instant payment can be made. So here is where I think on-chain transactions and blockchain technology can take this opportunity of connecting these RTPs, real-time payment systems.
Yeah, super interesting. I want to double down on two things. Like the first one is on agentic payments. I 100% agree with what Manu is saying, that this is, set for disruption. For instance, at Polygon, we are supporting the X402 primitive together with our friends from Coinbase and other partners. And we are seeing yet not massive growth, but we are setting the stage for that to happen. And then the other thing I wanted to double down is on what you guys also mentioned between the lines, which is right now we are in a sense patching we need, local correspondent banks. We need to many times use even Swift. We sometimes need to, like the on-chain liquidity circuits rely too much on the traditional systems. And I wanted to get your thoughts on if you think, creating a fully on-chain experience without relying on some of the traditional counterparties is something that is going to happen or not? And second, how far are we away from that future?
So I think I've been thinking about this a lot. So in general, I'm really against this. We all should go to Web3. I think that's bullshit. I think it's more on how you actually build stuff that will give the user not any chance that to be in Web3. So it's kind of building that segue into which people will drive directly, effortless. And if you think in terms of money, it's liquidity. If everything is on chain, you don't need to go the other way. So real world assets, I think, is one of the biggest challenges. 99% of the money is on bonds, gold, stocks, etc. So I think that is kind of the big price that we should be going for. And then things will eventually scale and reach common people. And I think on the normies, let's say, it's actually really important to innovate and think in the future.
I agree.
Last night, so I'm kind of
No, what I call payment network, we're seeing Fireblocks network, borderless integrating the same things. So I think that we are finding a bridge between the crypto world and the fiat world, and there are companies like all of us that are connecting both of them, and in a way that it's very easy both for users and for merchants, and that's where we are aiming to go. It's not going to be all fiat, it's not going to be all Web3 on chain, or at least that's my view.
I think like the technology needs to disappear for the user. I think like the next frontier that we have is to be a lot less technical to the end user, and that is maybe one of the largest challenges. We also have like the things that Rocio mentioned as benefits of this technology are the benefits of using a distributed ledger. We have a lot of electronic payment systems that can be really good, like Eduardo mentioned PIX or Transferencias 3.0 here in Argentina. These are centralized ledgers that if run properly and efficiently, they can be really good. The things that a distributed ledger provide is the composability of the assets, the programmability of the assets. These are things that enable, for example, the agentic payments that Manu mentioned, and I think that are like the things that are going to enable new ways of using money in the future. We do have a lot of things to tackle. I think like the onboarding today is very difficult for a normal person. Like most people do their lives in the local currency, not in USDC or USDT. They don't have their economy dollar denominated. They make their living in pesos. They make their living in reals. So we do need to find we need to get traction on local stablecoins. We think that is going to be two really good ramps that do 101 to local stablecoins, and then we also have two large challenges ahead. One is having FX markets that run on chain. Today, all liquidity against crypto to local currencies is against fiat in traditional systems. It is not, there is no liquidity for FX on chain. And the other thing that this technology has naturally, it is that it works really well for small transactions. Yeah. We have really good, we can do a lot of small transactions, really cost effective, 24/7, no bank holidays. But when you go into larger transactions, if you want to trade millions of dollars, the traditional system still beats us. Like it's cheaper to use Swift for a large transaction than using trading through crypto. And that is one of the challenges that we need to sort in order to get like more like larger transactions happening on chain.
I would like to double down on that specific use case on the Forex on chain, because it's something that we are also like breaking our brains on how to make it like more scalable and so on. Like for us, what we are seeing is that, or the question I'm throwing to the panelists is, do you guys think there needs to be like a new DeFi primitive to be created in order to allow for big foreign AMMs or even like liquidity pools don't work there, or it's a different problem?
The issue with the AMMs is they are not capital efficient. So the impermanent loss is too large for Forex to make sense, and that is something that it is today a challenge. It is really good for illiquid assets. So like I don't think there is a better technology than automated money markets for illiquid assets, and that's why we see so many assets and so many meme coins and all this. I was about to say crap, but let's call it another.
You can say that.
Other ways, but it is a really good technology for illiquid assets. I'm hopeful that we will be able to get the hooks primitive from Uniswap is very interesting to rebalance the AMMs, and there are more and more DEXs that work with order books on chain, that the things that Hyperliquid is doing, and like all these decentralized exchanges that have things in memory but settle on a ledger might get us there, but this is still on progress. I don't think we're there.
I think there is also one big problem that we have seen in the last couple of years, which is fragmentation. So when you want to move $1 trillion, I mean, you need to put all that money together, and maybe it's not in the same asset, in the same chain, so starting to have bigger bags of the same asset on the same chain start to become kind of a need in a way, because if not, how are you going to make that jump from microtransactions to billions transactions or more, So I think that's something to take into account also.
Is this, in your opinion, is this a problem that is solved by a winner-takes-it-all market? Like basically, like one big chain or one big stablecoin that, gets, like if I want to do more than 100 million transactions, then I need to use Ethereum and USDT, for instance. Or do you think this can be solved through real, I'm sorry about saying this word, like interop solutions, both from a blockchain and from a stablecoin perspective? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I'm not a wholesaler banker like JP Morgan, so maybe I don't have the direct answer there, but definitely I think something between coordination and incentives, it's needed to happen. I think the worst thing that can happen is to be abducted by CBDCs.
Absolutely.
So we need to put shit together and, kind of let's go forward and kind of make this really, really big, because if not, I think we are going to end up, in 1984,
I have no worry about CBDCs. I think like central banks across the world have been really bad at product and developing technology. There are a few counterexamples, but that's not the norm. So not so worried about that. I think like if you try to do a parallel with the traditional finance, custody is very segregated. Like it's fragmented across thousands of banks across the world. There is thousand. So custody all over the world is like very fragmented. But if you look into payment networks, that it is very concentrated. Like you have only two large flags for cards. You have 2 correspondent banks, and I think networks have network effects. That's what they're called, network effects. And so if that is a parallel, likely there will be few winners. I think it's going to be more than one, but it's not going to be many.
Yeah, I totally agree. Actually, on the CBDC stuff you're mentioning, like actually like fully regulated stable coins will get eventually closer or similar to what a CBDC can be. No, so in the end, it's a different way. Instead of being built top down, they are being built like bottom up. But in the end, we can reach to a similar product or situation. I would like to ask Eduardo, in your opinion, like just generally speaking, you have been doing like cross-border, CamiPay has been doing like cross-border payments for quite a few years already. Like, in your opinion, what big unlock can happen from an industry perspective in order for you to scale 100x the volumes that CamiPay is already doing?
Good question. 100x is a lot.
100x, yes. So 50 billion, if my numbers are correct.
Okay, I think that payment systems, I don't think in an only way that the payment industry will evolve. I think different countries will evolve with different systems. And in order to get those numbers or those figures, I think we have 2 challenges here. The first of all is to deliver product that doesn't need users to understand crypto. And I can check that in regards of CamiPay. We are doing that. The users of our clients are paying in another country, using the local currency, paying, the merchant of Brazil receives reais, and none the payer or the merchant know anything about crypto. And an on-chain transaction is happening in the background. So that, I think, it's like something that must need to be addressed and solved. And the second thing is to adapt to these different methods that we'll have, I think, in different countries. So if a country has a CDBC, you need to have the technology that can connect to that CDBC, and in another country you're going to have something like PIX, that it's completely public, and then you have private infrastructure in other countries, and the possibility to adapting to every type of payment system is and also complying with regulations in different countries. No? I think there's something that we need to address.
Awesome, super interesting. And then, as we are running out of time, I'm making the last question for Rocío. And basically, Rocío, as you are working for dLocal, which is a more traditional payments company that is evolving into integrating on-chain payments on your flows and on your stack, like how is that process being so far? Like, do you find more challenges like internally at dLocal because you have an already super successful company, clients, or finding new ones? Like, what's the mode internally and also externally for dLocal to go aggressive on stablecoins?
That's a very good question. dLocal is a very big company. We're like 1,200 people, and has been for the past 10 years a traditional company. So I think that adopting stablecoins is and has been, of course, a challenge. But there are so many things in the outside world that have helped us to do so. For example, you're talking about regulation. Ever since this Genius Act passed, more and more traditional companies are entering the space, and that for us is key. So we're seeing both merchant demand, ecosystem demand, and we are like we have the best rails to power everything. Like no company is in 45 markets and can do on and off ramps. So for us, not doing crypto or not doing stablecoins doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so Rocío, Sebas, Manu, Eduardo, thank you very much for sharing this time with me. It was fantastic conversation. I really enjoyed your on-the-field insights. and hopefully we keep sharing more stories together. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, friends. And so, Ben, can we get our next panelists up here? Here they come. So I have been informed that I owe y'all, and we have some folks that are looking around for the scavenger hunt portion of it, but good luck. So next up, we're going to be talking about foreign exchange, about FX. And this panel is called The Next Frontier in Cross-Border Payments. And so panelists, come on up.
Hello, everybody. Good. Happy to be here. Hopefully, everybody's happy to be here at that wonderful day in Argentina. Today with me, Juan, founder of Kappa, Leandro, founder of Avenia, and Lucas. Yeah, okay, good. And then Federico, Conduit Pay. Quick question before we get started with the panel. And who is from Argentina? Nice. Who is from any other Latin American country?